Hello everyone, Silver here, welcome to part 3 of my threat tutorial series. As I said before, this video is specifically about the events of the mission we created over the course of the last 2 videos. Since events are a crucial part of every mission that shall be more than just a simple dogfight, it is important to know what they can and how to use them. I gave a short overview in my introduction series, and I briefly talked about the events in part 1 of this tutorial series, but now is the time to take a closer look to each and every event in our mission, discuss why we need it, why it is there and how it works. So let's start with the first one. It's named Disarm HQ, and the condition branch of this XP is an Disarm delays XP for the A to Z headquarters with a delay of 0. So that means this event becomes true the moment all turrets of the A to Z headquarters are destroyed. When that happens, a message is sent by Alpha 1, so the player character. The message is HQ disarmed. The event also has a directive which reads Disarm A to Z HQ. So this one's pretty straightforward. The main intent was the directive, and the message is a nice bonus so that when this directive and this event is fulfilled, a message is sent to the player to comment on that. The next 4 events are similar. All of them are destroyed delays XPs with a directive for each of the 4 enemy wings that we encounter in this mission. They don't have any actions XPs, so they are really there just for the sake of the directive. The same is true also for the Destroy Sentries event, which also has an is destroyed delays XP. The only difference here is that we have several entries as data for that XP because we could not put the sentry guns into a wing, so instead of having to select just one wing to recognize the destruction of that whole wing, we had to put each sentry gun into that XP by itself. And this one also has a message to comment on the destruction of the sentry guns. The next one is HQ Defenseless Message List. So the name already says that the main intent for that event is to send a message list as soon as the HQ is defenseless. And what we mean by defenseless we can see in the conditions XP. It has a more complex condition branch starting with an AND operator, so a logical operator, which then combines several further XPs. All of them are is event true delay. So we reference to the events we created earlier and check if all those events are in fact true. So are all enemy wings destroyed, is the HQ station disarmed, and are all sentry guns destroyed as well. If all of those events are true, then the whole condition is true and the message list is sent that comments on those destroyed sentry guns and wings and that the station is now defenseless. But this event also has a second operator in the action branch. It is a Protect Ships XP with a parameter of A to Z headquarters. This XP sets the protection flag to the given ship, in our case the station, to stop AI ships from firing on it, because still the station is part of the hostile team, so ships of the friendly team would attack it. And we don't want that here, because now the station is disarmed, the next step would be to capture it. So with setting the protection flag, we stop all AI controlled friendly ships from firing on it. The next event is Oversea Capture Directive, or DIR as I abbreviate that, and it is chained to the previous event with a delay of 7 seconds. The reason for the chaining here is that I don't want the directive to show up before the previous event was completed, so the station is defenseless. And the delay of 7 seconds is because the message list from the previous event takes roughly about 7 seconds to be completed, so once this dialog is complete, the directive shall show up. The event has an IFF XP which checks if A to Z headquarters is of team friendly. As we all know, at the beginning it is of team hostile. The idea here is that once the station is captured by a boarding party, it would change its team and would become part of the friendly team, and then this directive should become true. But as we will see in the next event, this will never happen because the next event is Self-Destruct HQ and the event does exactly that. So why is this directive oversee capture there if it can never become true? Well, it is there for story consistency. The next step after disarming the HQ and destroying its defenses would be to oversee the capture, so that would be the next directive the player would get. It creates the impression that that is the next step to happen, only to have that impression shattered a few seconds later when the next event becomes true, which has also an is event true delay XP that checks on the HQ defenseless message list event with a delay of 9 seconds. So we have the 7 seconds that the previous event already has as a chain delay. Now we have 9 seconds, so 2 seconds after this directive shows up, this event becomes true, and as you can see, the first operator of the action branch is a self-destruct XP that destroys the A to Z headquarters. It is then followed by another message list where the characters in the mission comment on the self-destruction of this station. And directly after that is another chained event, the RTB or Return to Base event, which is a staple of nearly all free space missions. It is chained because, again, this directive shall only show up once the station is destroyed, and this one has a has departed delay XP for Alpha 1, so this becomes true when the player character ends the mission. In most cases, this kind of event has no action branch, but here we want to have a last thing done before the player ends the mission, which is to invalidate the capture A to Z HQ goal, because that's a primary goal, and we have to invalidate it, otherwise the whole mission would be seen as a failure, and we could not progress in our campaign. As you can see with the next event, the order of events is not necessarily chronological, it is more the order in which they were created, and as long as they are not chained, the order is not important. The next event is just a long message list for the beginning of the mission. So it has a has time elapsed XP as condition for 5 seconds, so it means after 5 seconds of game time, the message list is sent to establish the introduction to the mission itself. After that we have 2 chained events that changed the AI goals first for the hostile ships and then for the friendly ships. We use change AI controls XPs like add goal here or clear goals. So with add goal we add another AI goal, which we then have to select. In our case here it's AI chase any, so attack any enemy ship, and clear goals of course clears all previous existent AI goals for the given ship or ships. The reason for the chaining here is simply convenience for me. I did not have to think about the condition branch, I simply chained the events because the order is first the begin message list, then the AI orders hostile, then the AI orders friendly, so I did not have to use event true XPs here. I could simply chain them, give them the right delays to consider the time for the dialogue in the begin message list and then the reaction time between the second and the third event. Then we have 2 events for the Aquarius and Gemini wings when they arrive, so has arrived delay XP, then messages are sent, quite simple. And then the last events are kind of what I talked about, the consideration of what if things go wrong. So we first have 2 events that check the hit points left on A to Z headquarters with the hits left XP and the less than operator to check if the headquarters station has less than 50% hull integrity for the first one and less than 25% for the second one, and then messages are sent by command reminding the player that they shall not destroy the station but simply disarm it. The HQ destroyed by GTVA message event then is the culmination of when things go wrong, sending a message from command informing the player that the mission has failed if the A to Z headquarters station is destroyed and not by self-destruction. So we have the combination of the AND XP with the operators for is destroyed delay and not is event true self-destruct HQ. And that one is then followed by another RTB directive event, so in this case the RTB for the failure situation. As I said before, you should always consider that even the failing scenarios get their RTB event, so the player knows when they can return to base even if the mission has failed. There is an approach in the free space community to create one single large event that checks all the conditions for the RTB directive and then chain the RTB directive event to that large precondition event. The idea here is that you have a single point of entry for the RTB directive event, but I personally don't think that's a good idea for novice threaders, because for that event the conditions XP will get more complicated than creating separate events for each and every success or failing scenario. But that's just a matter of personal taste, it's not a question of whether it's right or wrong. So that's all the events for this mission. It's one of the simpler missions, so it doesn't have so many events. That could be many more for more complex missions. But I hope this has given you an impression how they work and how you should approach them and implement them. I do plan to make videos about specific situations in which we need specific events, so we will have a look at that in separate videos, and then it's really focused on one topic, one example or one situation that we want to tackle. So please stay tuned for those videos and more upcoming videos on FreeSpace 2. So far, thank you for watching, see you again in those next videos if you like to. Until then, take care and goodbye!